Welcome back to Switzer. Now, superannuation is going to cause a headache to lots of people. But in particular, I think the people who've got more than 1.6 million in their super funds, they're going to be particularly worried about June 30 and what goes on after it. So I've got Graeme Colley from SuperConcepts to talk us through the things that you should be considering if you're in that situation. Graeme, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Peter.
It seems ages since I last spoke to you, mate, but it's good to have you back on the program.
Yeah, you're not sounding
let's
any
talk. No, that's right. But I'm feeling better. I just sound worse. Now, let's talk about. I think I've got lots of questions around this, and the odd accountant's written into me saying that I'm wrong on this and that. So let's just get it sorted out. I've got $2 million in super, right? And on June 30, I've got to separate it. I can only have 1.6 million on my pension side, my pension fund.
Yep.
So I'm going to have to, I can, if I want to, throw 400 into accumulation mode, right?
Yes. Yeah, no problem
Right.
with that.
But I could also take out and buy an investment property outside of super.
Yes, you certainly can. If you're drawing down a pension, you can take it out of super if you want to. Yeah.
Yep, right, okay, so that's good. All right, so what I've said to you before was, well, why not put the slow assets like term deposits in the 400 million and put fast-growing assets, stocks or whatever, on the pension side, because it's income or income tax-free. And so smarties have said to me, oh, well, it's no difference because the tax office will do a little bit of a trick in the way they tax you. Graeme, do you want to talk us through the way the ATO will tax our earnings, both on the pension side, which is supposed to be tax-free, and the accumulation fund side?
Okay, well, from the 1st of July this year, what we're looking at is for funds where one member, not all members, just one member has got more than $1.6 million as a superannuation balance, not just their pension balance, then they'll need for that superannuation fund, particularly if it's a self-managed fund, of course, to be done on what we call an unsegregated or proportional basis. So it means that a part of every investment is devoted to the pension side of it, and a part of every investment is devoted to the accumulation side. So say you've got 80% of the fund in pension phase and 20% of the fund in accumulation phase, then 80% of the income that you get on every investment will be tax-free, or tax-exempt as we like to call it, and then 20% of it will be subject to tax at 15%. So you just can't split it up.
Yeah, so the fast growers, that income will be picked up in this nasty ATO trick, right?
Well, it's not an ATO trick. It's been in the legislation since 1988, Peter.
Yeah, I know that, and I'm not going to pick on the ATO. It's just what the rules are. But see, normal people, non-super people and non-accountant tax people will say, I thought my pension was always going to be tax-free, and now kind of my earnings on my pension side are going to be slightly taxed. Is that a true conclusion, or am I being dumb?
I think it's a little bit of a stretch, because when any pension you take out of your superannuation fund after you're 60 will always be tax-free. Yeah. So from that point of view, the money in your hand's tax-free. In the fund itself, the proportion of the fund that is providing the accumulation assets, I suppose, if you want to call them that, that'll be taxed. But that's no different to when you used to split it up, what we called segregated pension assets. So it's probably, I mean, it's going to be taxed, but not in the way some people think it is.
Okay, well, I'm happy. Look, I'm happy to live with this because that's just the way the rules are. I just think normal people are a little bit surprised about this. But still, I want to hit my critical to the boundary on this one. I hope I'm right. I'd love to hit them to the boundary on this one. By putting my fast-growing assets or leaving my fast-growing assets in the pension mode, the balance potentially can grow much bigger, can't it, if I have the fast growers on the pension side? I know they can fall as well. Don't give me the negatives here, but on the positive side, if I'm getting 10% per annum, that balance is going to grow faster than the slow assets in the accumulation mode.
In what we call a segregated fund, I agree with you, but if it's an unsegregated or pooled fund, then it's a proportion of the assets that are devoted to pension phase and also whatever it is in accumulation phase. So what you call the fast investments and the slow investments, any income you get from those or capital gains will still be taxed proportionately. So a proportion in accumulation phase and a proportion in accumulation phase.
Yeah. So the capital gain I get on the accumulation. See, but you're talking purely about tax here, Graeme, aren't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's all pooled for tax purposes.
But I'm talking about the actual growth of the balance.
Okay.
So if it starts at 1.6 million, right, and I'm only growing at 3% per annum, the balance grows really slowly, doesn't it?
It certainly does, yes.
But if I have it growing at 10%, it grows quickly.
Yep, probably doubles every 8 years, I would guess.
Yeah, and then all the money I have on my pension side, if one day I say, damn the superannuation system, I'm drawing the whole lot out. I'm going to be able to draw more out on my pension side, aren't I? Because I've been growing it at a faster rate.
Yeah, because your pension balance from an accounting point of view is certainly going to grow quicker. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. So therefore, is there any logic then in having your fast growers to forget tax, all that sort of stuff? I'll bow to the accountants on the tax thing, but in terms of the assets growing faster on the pension side, and then imagining one day I draw it all out, I'll get more money. I'll have more money to draw out because I've decided to put my fast growers on the pension side.
Yes, but don't forget the way in which it's taxed is on a proportional basis.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not convincing you, am I?
No, not from a tax point of view. You can certainly allocate the investments between members and between a pension and accumulation account. That's at a sort of member level. But when you're talking about the tax level, it's done on a proportional basis. And that's not easy to get away with.
No. I'm certainly aware of that. But I just wanted to get clear, because these are the questions I'm getting from normal people. And the answers I'm getting from experts in the field don't make it clear to the normal people. And that's why I'm playing the normal person in the street on this. And I'll keep doing it until June 30, Graeme, and you're going to be the victim of these normal questions as well, as long as poor Rickard will be as well. All right, so until further notice, that's that question, or I hope that's covered. Is there any other issue that you're getting that people are asking you all the time that you think needs to be cleared up?
Yeah, I mean, I think some people think that you can only have $1.6 million in super. That's not correct. It's only $1.6 million that gets the tax exemption. And that's the value that's transferred into pension phase. It's $1.6 million of pension value. The money in pension phase can grow to as much as you want it to. If you've got those fast growers like you're talking about, then I think that's one myth. Another myth is probably that you can't make any contributions to superannuation after the 1st of July. That's incorrect, because it's any tax-deductible contributions can certainly go into the superannuation fund. If you've got more than $1.6 million as a balance in superannuation, then you can't put any non-deductible contributions into superannuation. So people get a little bit confused about that. The other one, which I think is the most important that we're seeing, is a little bit of a side issue to it. It's about death benefits and the way in which they're included for the rules. And what happens there is that if your partner was to pass away, then the value of their benefit, if you're entitled to that, then gets added to your benefit for superannuation purposes, and that might go over that $1.6 million. And that's pretty important to keep an eye on that.
Yeah. I think when you come back in the next week or a week after, we should talk about that.
Yeah.
All right, Graeme, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Peter.
That's Graeme Colley from SuperConcepts, and if you want to know more, I'm sure if you go to the SuperConcept website, there'll be Q&A there for sure. So, coming up after the break, we'll be talking to Margaret Lomas about some of the best places to invest around the country right now.